It's just 43 pounds that were found last year. That's less than a carry-on suitcase. Is that a lot of fentanyl compared to, say, Mexico, where the vast majority of the fentanyl is brought in through Mexico, not Canada? So what else does Canada need to do?
Well, I just told you, last year alone, there was a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl.
But it's only
You're
43
asking
pounds,
me,
Carol.
you're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe. And frankly, I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the families in this country who have lost loved ones at the hands of this deadly poison. If you talk to them, and this president has, they are grateful that they finally have a president who is standing up to both Canada and Mexico, and most importantly, to China as well. The president added an additional 10% tariff on China because this deadly poison is being produced in that country. It's being distributed through our neighbors, and there needs to be consequences for that, period.
Hey everyone, today we're diving into a topic that has everyone talking. The latest showdown between Trump's press secretary and a reporter who asked, well, a pretty controversial question. Trust me, you don't want to miss this breakdown. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. So, here's how it all began. During a recent press briefing, a reporter questioned the justification behind Trump's new tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Now, this wasn't just any question. It was bold, and some might even say rude. The press secretary didn't hold back in her response, calling the question disrespectful to families affected by the fentanyl crisis. Her argument? The administration is taking a firm stance against countries that allow fentanyl to flow into the United States. And according to her, these tariffs are part of a broader plan to protect American lives. What do you think? Fair point. Or is the administration going too far? Let me know in the comments below.
And the president just posted on social media that he had spoken with Prime Minister Trudeau. He says he's not satisfied with what the Prime Minister has said when it comes to fentanyl, but less than 1%, as you know, less than 1% of the fentanyl seized last year was in the northern border. What else does Canada need to do?
Well, the president did just put out a statement on his call with the governor, Justin Trudeau, as he calls him, of Canada. And he said that he was not pleased, as you said. He said it's not good enough. He told Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that directly. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner, as the president said, but he's not going to stop standing up for the American people. And to answer your question directly when it comes to fentanyl, for the last 4 years, unfortunately, our neighbors to the north and the south, Canada and Mexico respectively, have allowed America to be a dumping ground, not just for illegal aliens, but for illegal, poisonous, deadly fentanyl, which is now the #1 killer of young people in this country aged 18 to 34.
Now let's break down why this is such a heated issue. The press secretary highlighted some shocking stats, including a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl seizures at the northern border. She accused Canada and Mexico of turning the U.S. into a dumping ground for this deadly substance. But here's the kicker. Most fentanyl still comes through Mexico, not Canada, so why target both countries equally? The press secretary insists it's about sending a message. If you agree with this tough stance, tap that like button and let us know. In a surprising twist, the press secretary also confirmed that Trump granted a 1-month exemption on auto tariffs for the big 3 automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. According to her, these companies directly requested the exemption to avoid being at a competitive disadvantage under the USMCA. This move shows that while the administration is tough on trade, there is some flexibility. But critics argue that these exemptions create confusion and undermine the tough-on-trade narrative.
Through the northern border in Canada, in last fiscal year alone, there was enough fentanyl seized to kill 4.8 billion people. And that number is up 2,050% from 2023, the year before. So there's been more than a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl seizure at the northern border. Why? Because Canada is allowing that fentanyl to come to the United States. The president sees these numbers, he thinks about the lives that are lost, and everybody in this room, I'm sure, everybody watching at home, everybody across the country knows someone in our lives who has been killed at the hands of this deadly poison. There needs to be repercussions for that. The president feels very strongly about it.
What's your take? Should there be exceptions, or should the tariffs apply across the board? Of course, the media wasn't going to let this slide. Many outlets are accusing the administration of using tariffs as a political weapon. The press secretary fired back, saying Trump is simply putting America first and protecting American jobs. And here's where it gets interesting. She also took a swipe at the previous administration, blaming them for the current inflation crisis and promising that Trump will fix it if re-elected. If you want to stay updated on all these political twists and turns, hit that subscribe button right now. So, what do you think?
We know that some officials here were miffed that Zelensky showed up last week without a suit for his meeting in the Oval Office. But Elon Musk never wears a suit.
He did last night.
So what is the dress code?
Well, Elon Musk wore a suit last night. I'm sure you saw it.
Was he spooked by the Zelensky, Zelensky getting kicked out?
No, I don't think so. I'm just pointing out that he did wear a suit last night, and I think the president liked that very much, and he looked great. Speaking of the president, he just passed me a note while I'm standing here. He wanted me to hold this up. This is the poll that I cited, the CBS YouGov poll that shows that 76% of those who watched the president's speech last night approved of his speech. And so it goes to my earlier point that I made in my monologue about how incredibly sad it is that we have a modern-day Democrat Party who is so severely out of touch with the American public. This is a great poll. The ultimate poll, though, came on November 5th when the president won by an overwhelming margin that he spoke about last night. Democrats weren't happy to hear that either.
Did Trump's press secretary shut down the reporter, or was the question fair game? There are strong opinions on both sides, and I want to hear yours. Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.